Hi guys, today I'm going to be painting on wood, on this wooden slab with the famous jelly roll, not jelly, himi jelly gouache. I have the 24 set, and yes, I have used these already, and I've used them quite a bit, but I'm still getting used to them because again, well, not again, but because, what's it called, gouache, and in this case the jelly gouache, is just, what's it called, opaque watercolor. So it's like watercolor, but with even more pigment, and it's so much thicker. But you don't want to use it like watercolor. It's, as people on YouTube kept saying, it's like a mix between watercolor and acrylic because it's so thick and so opaque that you could layer a white on top of a black, and like as you guys are gonna see, like I layered yellow on top of purple. So you can layer all of these light colors on top of these really dark colors. And today I'm going to be painting this little whale uh, in the sky. I don't know. I don't know what's been up with me in whales because when I was trying the Ross watercolors, I painted a whale, and here I'm painting another whale. I guess I like whales, but as you guys can see, it is very opaque. Like it just needs a one coat. And I'm using it straight out of the thing. But the thing is, that you do need to dip back into it because it is so thick that it basically does not spread as nicely as it would if you did water it down. Because since this is like an opaque watercolor, you can water it down a bit to get the desired thickness that you would want. And but the thing that Okay, speak. The thing is that you don't want to water it down too much, or else it loses its opacity. But you don't want to. But you also don't want to do what I did, where I just went right in and um just went straight in for it because what's it called? Because you would be using up so much watercolor, so much gouache, and you would just be dipping in now constantly. So you would want to water it down a little bit. Don't do what I do. Do what I say, not as I do, because I am not a great teacher. I just do what I want when I want to. I I would not be a good teacher, but I don't think you guys can paint on wood straight up with watercolor or gouache. In this case, the reason it's painted white is because I used watercolor ground. Basically, you can use it on things like wood, metal, glass, stuff like that, and you basically turn it, or it gives it a watercolor paper kind of consistency, so that you can use things like gouache and watercolor. But if you wanted to use something like acrylic, you would use something like gesso, clear gesso, something like that, because gesso is acrylic paint primer, and this is kind of like watercolor primer, really, but it just helps it accept watercolor and gouache just that much better. Right here, you can see the little oopsie that I made where some of the body and the underside of the whale is just a tad bit darker than it should be. Just the two of the blues look very similar to each other, and I just got them mixed up. And now we're gonna be painting this inner ring, which is, I believe, the galaxy, the like a sky. It's like kind of sounds like, I don't know how to describe it. It's purple. It's purple, so it's like the galaxy that we see. And as you guys can see, I'm like layering it on thick, like very, very, very vividly, like this. this toxic purple is not going away. And as you guys can see, and as you guys can see, it a little does go a long way. But like I said, you do want to water it down because if you don't, it does become so thick that like right here you saw it barely spreading because the watercolor ground is absorbing the gouache, and even though there's a lot of gouache on my brush, the um the watercolor ground is just absorbing it. I don't know about you guys, but my sleep schedule has been just crazy. That's why I'm just like rambling because I don't don't have much going on in this head. It's like empty. There's just I just feel groggy. I don't really have much to say apart from I don't have any commentary to say on here. Really, just it's purple, and that's really it. And oh, and here I'm gonna show you that you can add something like yellow on top of the gouache. If it's dry, you can add lighter colors on top of darker colors, which isn't something that you can do with watercolors, because because normally with watercolors you go from lightest to darkest. So you would start off with your yellows, with your like oranges, and then you would go into your reds, your blues, your purples. Whereas here, it's kind of like acrylic painting in the sense that you can go light to dark, dark to light, and it doesn't really matter which way you do it because it's gonna look exactly the same. Although my thing with watercolor paints, or with watercolor and gouache in general, is just that I don't like that you can't seal them with something like Mod Podge or something like that. Or I think you can't even seal them with Krylon or any like adhesive sealant because since it's watercolor, it will reactivate and it'll just run and bleed together. And I get kind of mad about that because I like sealing things like my regular acrylic paintings, my um, colored pencil drawings. Which, mind you, I got so mad because Prismacolor colored pencils, like if you seal certain colors like reds and purples, like they'll start to bleed. Like I might make a YouTube short about it, like showing you guys, but it bleeds really bad. And I'm like, what is going on? But that's just something that I personally don't like about watercolors and gouache. That and that if you do want seal, because you can kind of seal gouache with, because I know you can use a wax medium, but you can also like seal it if you use very thin layers of Mod Podge. But watercolor is one of those things that it's like no, the second any water touches any of the dry, it will run. So yeah, I think it's because like you have to put it behind UV protective glass. Like you would put in a frame and then have UV protected glass to keep it light fast. But I just like sealing it because then it makes it glossy. It protects it from like dirt or whatnot. And the wax medium, from what I heard, makes things a little tacky. So that's why I've been like a little bit wary of getting it. 'Cause I did want to get it, but apparently it would attract dirt, and I have dogs, and I do not want hair in the paintings. So that's why I've been wary of getting it. Because I do want a way to protect my paintings, but I don't want to get glass because children, and just because I'm clumsy. You know, So me, glass, we don't get along, but we might have to get it. Have to mature a little bit, and that way I won't have things fade. I don't know what I would do for something like this where it's on wood. I don't know how I would seal that with like UV protected glass, Or could I use Krylon UV resistant? Yo, this is my favorite part. Putting the multi chrome on top of the black because it just gives it this like galaxy effect without you having to use the purples, the blues, the reds, like it just does it all at once. You see that shift from purple to red, and then if you keep tilting it, it goes from red, purple to green, like teal. It is so 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 pretty. Like you, like the camera makes it look more vibrant, but in person it's just so much prettier because you get to see all the shifts. Because here you guys just see from purple to red, but in person you get to see it go from green to purple to red, and then even in some points to like orange and yellow. It's just so pretty in person. I don't know. It it's just so pretty. But what do you guys think about this painting and my one of my attempts at gouache? Please let me know down in the comments. And thank you.